everyone, it's Crochet by Beb. Welcome to my channel. Hope you are doing fine today. In this video tutorial, we're going to make the Snoopy sweater. This sweater is a hobby Christmas campaign where the challenge is to create a famous ugly Christmas sweater, which of course it won't be. So this is the result of the challenge. So we made a cute sweater, which is the Snoopy. These are the colors that I'm using to make my sweater. So these colors are from the acrylic Christmas pack, and this is number 3 lightweight yarn, 100% acrylic, and this is 100 grams, and it comes with 5 colors. So this is the acrylic Christmas pack, and I add other colors from Amigo. So Amigo Hobby. So this is also 100% acrylic and number 3 lightweight, and this is 50 grams. I really love Amigo yarn. It's very soft acrylic yarn, and also the Christmas, it's the same. They are both number 3 lightweight. So these are the colors that I'm using for my sweater. You can choose also another color if you would like. And I'm using 4.5 millimeter hook, scissors, and I'm going to use yarn needle and stitch markers. I'm going to put here how many grams each I will be using in my sweater. So in my sweater, I made a bit oversized fit. For your reference, my sweater is 21 inches wide or 53.5 centimeters, and it is 23 centimeters long or 58.5 centimeters including the hem, and my sleeve is 17 inches long or 43 centimeters, and this is 9 inches wide or 23 centimeters. So these are the final measurements of my sweater, but if you would like a smaller one or bigger one than my sweater, you can do that. You can customize your desired size to make your sweater. I explain furthermore how to adjust it into your desired measurements into the next clip. So the pattern we will be using a graph or chart. I will put this in the description. You can find the link in there so you can download it and print it out. This graph, I made a 2 version, so I explain furthermore in the next clip how to use this graph. So these graph are your personal use only, okay? So hope you will enjoy making this sweater, and please don't forget to tag me in my Instagram at Crochet by Beb if you would like to share your work with me. I really love to see your work using my tutorial, and especially this sweater that we can use it in the season and in the Christmas holidays. Hope you will gonna enjoy making this tutorial and use your sweater. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you will be notified for more videos. And yeah, hope you will enjoy making your sweater. And let's start. Alright, let's start. First, decide how wide you would like for your sweater. In my sweater, it is 21 inches or 53.5 centimeters. That is the wide I would like for my sweater. It's a bit oversized. Okay, so decide first how wide you would like for your sweater, and then we're going to discuss the pattern or the graph pattern. I made a 2 version, so one that is only the whole picture of the Snoopy, and one that I use for my sweater. So this is the number of my stitches and number of my rows. So I will include this into the graph so you can have a reference. So this graph has 64 stitches to get the whole wide of the picture or the graph of the Snoopy. So your stitches should be more than or at least 64 stitches. Alright, to get the whole wide of the graph, it should be 64 or more than 64 stitches. Okay, in my sweater, I have 86 stitches. as you can see here in this graph. So I adjusted my stitches on the side. That's why I put only white in this part, so you can adjust your stitches also in here, and then change the number of the stitches down here. So this is the number of your stitches, and then the numbers in here are the numbers of your rows. As you can see, 1 and the number 2 is in there. So the numbers here are your numbers of your stitches, and the numbers in the side are the numbers of your rows. Okay, so 1 square is equivalent to 1 stitch. Okay, so this is 64 stitches. So at least or more than 64 stitches you're going to make. And then if you have more than 64 stitches, okay, for example, you get 74 stitches. So what you're going to do is you're going to deduct 64 stitches and then divide that into 2. So 74 minus 64 is 10, and then divide that by 2, so 5. So you're going to put your 5 stitches here, you're going to add in here, and 5 stitches in this side. So to balance the stitches, you're going to adjust or increase in the pattern. Okay, so it should be equal number you're going to increase in both sides. Okay, so in my graph, I adjusted 11 stitches here and then 11 stitches in this side. So I have a total of 86 stitches in my first panel, and it is 21 inches wide. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So I will going to put this so you can adjust how many stitches in this side and in this side, and then you're going to adjust the numberings here. So for example, you adjusted 5 stitches, so you're going to put your number 1 in there, 1 2 3 4 5, and then continue 6 7 8 9 10, then until you reach the 5 stitches also that you adjusted in this side. Okay, so for the rows, so as you can see here, the number 1, so meaning you're going to follow the graph, start from here, right, this right going to the left. Okay, this direction from right to left, and then as you can see, the number 2 rows is in here, so meaning you're going to follow the pattern or the graph from left to right. And then the next row, row 3, so you're going to follow from right to left again, from this direction going in there. So you can see the black you're going to change in here, so you can see if you already put colors into your stitches. You can see that just you don't need to count already in here, so you're going to change in between here. Next row 4 is you're going to follow again in this direction going in there. Okay, so it's not complicated to follow the graph. You can download the graph and print it out, so you can write down there how many stitches you're going to increase and how many rows you're going to make. So it's up to you, or you can screenshot into your device. The graph is for personal use only. Okay, so I hope it's a bit clear now how to follow the graph. So I'm going to show you now how to start the row 1. So I use a foundation chainless half double crochet. So in my sweater I use half double crochet, all half double crochet, so it's not difficult to make the sweater. So now I'm going to show you how to start the foundation chainless or the row 1. It is a chainless half double crochet, how to do that, and then how to change color in between. So as you can see, my first or front panel is 21 inches wide or 53.5 centimeters, and this is 86 stitches. I'm going to show you how to start with the foundation or chainless half double crochet, and then how to change color in between. I'm using this color for my main colors. It's up to you which color you would like for the main color. So I put here blue and change the color of the hat and the gift. So in my graph or in my sweater I use these colors. So I'm using the Amigo acrylic, and this is light worsted, and the acrylic Christmas pack, and this is the same also, number 3 or light worsted acrylic yarn. Okay, so how to make the row 1 with a chainless half double crochet. So make a slip knot and then chain 2. And then here into your first chain, you're going to insert your hook. First, yarn over, insert your hook into this first chain, and then grab a yarn. You have 3 loops on the hook. Then yarn over, pull through 1, and then yarn over, pull in these 3 loops. Then you have your first half double crochet done. Again, yarn over, insert your hook in these 2 loops at the bottom, and then grab a yarn, pull through 1, then pull all these 3 loops. So this is how to make the chainless half double crochet. Again, yarn over, insert hook in these 2 loops at the bottom, then grab a yarn, pull through 1, then pull 3 loops, yarn over, insert hook, grab a yarn, pull through 1, pull 3 loops. Okay, so you're going to repeat this to have your, or to make your first row. It should be more than 64 stitches to get the whole stitches of our Snoopy grab. Alright, so row 2 is plain color. So row 1 and row 2 is plain color. As you can see here, row 1 and row 2. So you're going to use the same color for row 2. So to go for the next row, just make chain 2, and chain 2 I don't count as a stitch. Throw out into my rows, okay? So you can do that also. So chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Then turn, then into the first stitch half double crochet. So row 2 all half double crochet into all the stitches. So one more thing is when you are working the odd rows, the 1, 3, 5, 7, these side rows, meaning you are working the right side of your panel of your work. Then when you are working the even rows, 2, 4, 6, meaning you are working at the back of your panel or your work here. Okay, so continue row 2, all half double crochet. And then next row, row 3, you're going to insert the block in this part. So you can see row 3, you're going to insert block in here. So you're going to count how many blues you're going to make in here, plus your stitches that you increase, and then chains here. So I'm going to show you how to insert and change color. So again, you're going to make chain 2, then turn, and then into the first stitch half double crochet. So this is only example, okay? So I'm only making these small swatches just to show you how to do the stitches and how to change color. So for example, we're going to change color in there. So here, into your last stitch in this color. For example here, don't finish your half double crochet. You can put your yarn like this and hold. And then grab your next color. And then insert to finish your last half double crochet in that color, and then continue in this color. So now in this black color. So now you're going to count how many stitches you're going to do in this black. Okay, so for example, you're going to make 3 in here. So you can carry the other color at the back. I mean the handwork yarn at the back. The technique that I use in my panel, as you can see here, I use the other technique. I'm using also carrying all the handwork yarn into the stitches, but in this case I use the other technique that I only carried them once in a while, as you can see here, just to hold the handwork yarn, because we're using more than 3 yarn, so it's better to use this technique. Just carry them once in a while in between of your stitches, just to hold and not hanging totally into the back, just like this. I forgot to carry it, so you can carry them once in a while in between of the stitches. Okay, so you can follow this technique also. You can drop in there at the back, and then after a few stitches you can carry them just to hold the yarn and work yarn. Just stitch them one and then drop them again, and then continue, something like that. As you can see, you carry them here and then drop, and then they are hanging at the back, and not totally hanging because you're going to carry them once in a while. And then when you're going to change yarn again, so for example, I'm going to change with the red, so I'm going to do this like this. Don't finish your half double crochet, hold your yarn in there, and then grab the red and then change color, just as easy like that, and then continue in this color. Okay, so always put your handwork yarn at the wrong side of your work, or at the back of your work, okay? And then here, last stitch, and then chain 2 and turn. So now you're working at the wrong side, meaning you are looking your direction of your stitches in this part from left to right. And then continue half double crochet into the stitches, and then just count how many stitches you're going to do in this color, and then change if you need to change. So for example, here you're going to include your one adjust block here. So what you're going to do is you're going to unfinish your second to the last color in this, and then change. So you're going to pick up your yarn going up in this row, and then continue. So for example, you're going to have only 4 in here. So into your 4th in this color, change, and so for example, I will now insert the white. So you can insert your white in here. Important also is you have patience holding all this yarn. Okay, so for example, we're going to work 3 only here. This is only example, okay? So it's not the total stitches that I have here in the graph. Then change black, something like that, and then continue. And then one more thing is, as you can see in the graph, there is you don't need the other colors. For example, only here, the white. So you don't need to carry your white on this side anymore, and also the black in this part, because you're going to only need these colors only in this part, okay? So what you're going to do is drop them in this side, something like that, and don't carry them here in the plain color. As you can see here in my graph, the red or this maroon. So you just leave them here at this side or in this side, and then just continue your plain color in this side. I hope that makes sense. As you can see here, the green. So I only insert my green in here. So this is the hat. And I didn't carry them all the way in this part because I don't need them in this side anymore. So I only drop in them and insert them here in this part. So you can see also the yellow and the green. So only in this side. So you don't need to carry them all the way into the other side of your stitches. Okay, that's what I want to say. Just carry them where you're going to need. So for example, you're going to add your green in here and then just drop your, so here, so you're going to insert your green in here and then drop in there, so you don't need to carry them all the way in here because as you can see, you don't need this color, or else you're going to use the same color as like here. So you're going to carry it all the way around here and then use in this side also, or else you're going to use another ball of your yarn in this part and another ball of your yarn in this color, so you don't need to carry them all the way in this center or in the middle. Okay, I hope it's a bit clear how to carry the yarn and the technique. Alright, so I hope I already explained all the things I need to explain. Okay, so the sun is here. So I hope it's already clear to you how to follow the graph and the technique, how to drop and pick the yarns at the back and how to change color. Yeah, it's not that difficult as long as you have your chart in you or the graph. You can just count how many stitches you're going to need and where you're going to change color. So I don't need to show it to you how to do row by rows. So you just look at the chart and follow. So it's not difficult. Okay, so continue your rows. So my rows, I have a total of 65 rows. So as you can see here, so I made 2 rows of plain colors and then made the neckline, or for the shoulders decrease, as you can see here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, continue the first part of your graph in here until here, at least 2 plain colors after the Snoopy, as you can see in my 2 colors of plain, and then I made the decrease for the neckline and shoulders. Okay, so continue first to do in here. This is 59 rows. And then we're going to make the decrease for the neckline and shoulders. Okay, so if you have any questions how to do the rest of the rows, just comment down below and I will try to answer. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to decrease. Okay, so here we're going to make or do the decrease at least 2 to 3 inches. So for me it's only 2 inches. Or yeah, it's more than 2 inches. It's 5.5 centimeters. And this is 6 rows. Oh, sorry for the sun. So 6 rows. You can do also 3 inches in here if you would like a lower neckline. And then you're going to divide the width of your panel into 3. So 21 inches for me. So I'm going to make 7 inches here, then 7 inches in this side. So as you can see, 7 inches and then 7 inches also in this side. But if you would like a wider neckline, you're going to make this wider than this side, in this both side. Or if you would like a closer neckline, make it more wider here and smaller in the middle. So for me, I made it the same, 7, 7, 7. And this is 28 stitches, 28 stitches. You can see how many stitches into your panel when you are working, okay? So maybe we don't have the same. So 7 inches, then 7 inches. Then here in the middle, 7 inches also. So I made just them equal. So I made 6 rows in here to make the decrease for the neckline and shoulder. So it's up to you, okay? Maybe you're using a thicker yarn, so you're going to have only 4 or 3 or 5. You can set it to your panel. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to do the decrease. So I already made in here in my first panel. So I'm now going to show you in here in my back panel. So just chain 2 as usual and then turn. And then for me, I'm going to work 28 half double crochet. So 28 half double crochet. And one more thing, I made it the same wide as my shoulder, or this part in the middle, the neckline, because I'm going to use the slip stitch into the back loop only to make my neckline border later. So that's why it's, as you can see, it's wide. It's a bit wide, the opening. Later it will be more close because I'm going to use the single crochet into the back loop only to make the border. I will show you it later. So I forgot to show you how long my first panel. This is 21 inches long also, as you can see, including the shoulder. So until here it's 19.5. No, it's 50 centimeters. Okay, so here I have now my 28 stitches. So to go to the next row, how to decrease, you just chain 2, and I don't count as a stitch, then turn, and then this first and second stitch, we're going to work 2 half double crochet together in this first and second stitch. So insert in there, don't finish your half double crochet, yarn over, insert into the next stitch. You have 5 loops on the hook and yarn over all into that 5 loops to make your 2 half double crochet together, and then continue half double crochet into the stitches. Just simply as that, how to do the decrease. Make 2 half double crochet together into your beginning 2 stitches, and then when you're working in the next row, you're going to work 2 half double crochet together into your last 2 stitches. So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to continue first this and then continue in the next row, and then show you how to do the decrease in this side. So we're making only first this side, and then later we're going to insert our yarn in here and then make the rows in this part. Okay, to decrease here into your last 2 stitches, make your 2 half double crochet together. And then chain 2 and then turn. I don't count that as a stitch, so into the first and second stitch, work your half double crochet 2 together, then continue half double crochet into the rest of your stitches. So simply as that to work the decrease. Okay, so continue until you reach the at least 2 to 3 inches here. So I'm going to continue here, and then here we're going to insert our yarn to make this side. Alright, so when you are done your shoulder decrease, so for me is 6 rows. It's up to you. You can make it 5 or more than 6 rows. You can see it into your preference. So if you are done, just chain 1 and cut your yarn into your first panel. So just leave a bit of long tail here, just enough to sew the panels together later. So for me, I don't need to leave a long tail here. So and then just cut your yarn, and then we're going to insert our yarn in the other side. And then in this side, just look where your direction of your stitches. So this is the direction of the stitches. So you're going to insert your yarn here. So count how many stitches you're going to do, the same stitches from here. So for me, 28. So I count 28 and then inserted my yarn in there. And then you're going to start here. So for me, chain 2, I don't count as a stitch, or you can count also as a stitch. So this is 1, and then continue half double crochet. And it's the same when you're going to decrease, half double crochet 2 together into your last 2 stitches, and into the next row, first 2 stitches, make half double crochet together. As you can see here, half double crochet 2 together, half double crochet 2 together. Okay, until you reach the same rows in this side. Okay, so as simply as that, how to do the decrease. So continue your decrease and finish your first panel, and then I'm going to explain it to you how to do the back panel. Alright, so when you are done your first panel, the Snoopy grab, now I'm going to show you how to do your back panel. Alright, so this is my back panel. As you can see, I made it with my main color and stripe with the white yarn. You can do also plain color or one color, it's up to you, or you can think another style to make your back panel, you can do that. Okay, so I started also here the same kind of stitches and then make a few rows. This is 9 row, and then change into white, then change into the main color, and then white again, just to make this stripe of the white, and then continue with the main color, the same count, 9 rows, and then stripe again here, and then go on, and then do again your decrease in the last rows, last 6 rows for me. So it's totally the same how to start the chainless half double crochet, the same kind of stitches, and do your stitches and rows half double crochet. You can do the same as mine to stripe with a white, or if you can use another color, it's up to you. Okay, so make your back panel, and then when you are done, we're going to attach the front and back panel together. Alright, so when you are done your 2 panels, now we're going to sew them together. So put your back panel first into the right side out. So this is my right side. You can see the white rows are in the wrong side of my stitches. So put your back panel into the right side out, and then your first panel or your front panel into the right side down, so the right side are facing. And then we're going now to sew first the shoulders. Then using your left long tail and your yarn needle, we're going to whip stitch to sew these 2 panels together. So I just go in and out into the stitches. Okay, so sew the shoulders first, and then we're going to sew the sides. Okay. Alright, so before sewing the sides, decide first how wide or open you would like for your sleeves. So here, I recommend like 8 inches or 7 inches. Or if you would like a wider sleeve, at least 9 inches. So it's up to you, since we are making a bit oversized sweater. So I will be making like 8 inches or 8.5. And then here you can put your marker just to hold the panels together, and you will know where to stop. Okay, you can count also how many rows in here, so to match the rows at the back, and then continue sewing on the sides. You can start here at the bottom and then until here into your mark rows. Okay, so decide first how open or how wide you would like for your sleeves, and then put your marker just to hold your panels together, and then sew the side. So you can use the same color, so it will not visible your sewing stitch. Alright, so I'm going to sew the side. So I'm going to make 8 inches or 8.5. Alright, so I'm done attaching the panels together or sew the sides. So I made 9 inches opening and already done my first sleeve. So what I did here is I directly made the sleeves or attached the sleeve into my panel, as you can see. But if you prefer to make it separate, you can do that also. And then later you just sew it into the openings of the panels. The pattern is I did the same like in my back panel. I made the stripes, so I made few rows of the main color and then stripe with the white. So I think I made 9 rows and then changed into white, then in between the red and then the white, just to make the stripes until I reach into my wrist, and then the borders. So this is the ribbing. It is slip stitch into the back loop until here. So the length of my sleeves until until top of my hand, and this is 16 inches long or 41 centimeters. So it's up to you. It's your personal preference if you would like a longer one or if you would like just sits into your wrist. Just make sure you do it a few inches before finishing it to make allowance for the border or the ribbing. Alright, so I'm going now to show you how to add directly, but if you prefer do it separate panel, you can do that and then sew it later here into the opening. So what I did is I just made the half double crochet all the way around. So we don't have regular stitches here at the side, but you can see if it's too close or too far your stitches you're making here. So I'm going to show you an example. As you can see here, these two half double crochet here, it's a bit too far to each other, so make sure you're going to put this a bit nearer, or if it's too near you can see it into your stitches. Alright, so make sure to see the distance of your half double crochet when you're doing or making your half double crochet in the side. Okay, so make half double crochet all the way around here, and then we're going to attach here. We're going to slip stitch and then chain 1 or 2, then turn our work and then continue half double crochet all the way around. And then when you reach again here at the end, you just need to slip stitch into your beginning stitch and then chain 1 or chain 2, then turn again. So just what I did here. So as you can see, I made the slip stitch here just to connect the beginning and end together, so we don't need to sew it the sides. So I'm going to show you later. And then one more thing, if you are doing already your second sleeve, so I am now doing my second sleeve, right? So make sure you have the same count of stitches from your first sleeve. Okay, so I will need to count how many stitches I made here, and then make sure you have the same count you're going to make in your second sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to put all my half double crochet all the way around and going to show you how I made the slip stitch, chain 1 or chain 2, then turn, then continue half double crochet. Alright, so I'm done my half double crochet all the way around. So I have a total of 77 half double crochet. So what you're going to do here when you are done, you just need to slip stitch here into your beginning stitch. Just slip stitch. If you want to use your stitch marker, you can insert your stitch marker here into your last stitch, and then chain 1 or chain 2. So for me, I made chain 1 and then turn. So chain 1 I don't count as a stitch, okay? And turn, and then into your first stitch, your last stitch into your last row. So make your first stitch in there or half double crochet, so in here. So make your half double crochet and then half double crochet all the way around. So simply as that. I'm going to show you once more again later. So I just finish this. So all half double crochet. Alright, so when you are done here, make sure you did the last stitch, okay? You can use your stitch marker if you are confused your beginning and last stitch. And then just slip stitch again here into the beginning stitch here. Then chain 1 and turn. You can hold your last stitch here. If you don't want to use your stitch marker, you can hold, just hold and turn your work, and then put your first half double crochet in there. So that is your first stitch. So you need to turn your work also, okay? Just to make sure you get the same texture of your stitches. So make sure you turn your work every row. Alright, so I hope you already know how to attach the beginning and last stitch. Just slip stitch here into your first stitch and then chain 1 and then turn, and then make sure you're going to start into your first stitch or into your last stitch from your last row. Okay, so you can use your stitch marker to be sure. Okay, alright, so continue this until you reach a few rows the desired length of your sleeves. So give an allowance to make the ribbing. Okay, so for me this is 16 inches long, so I'm going to finish my second sleeve and then coming back to show you how to add the ribbing directly. So I didn't cut my yarn, I just straight after finishing my desired length before the ribbing, I continue the stitch with the slip stitch into the back loop only. Okay, so I'm going to finish my second slip and then show you how to do the ribbing of the slip. Okay, continue. Alright, so I'm done the length I need for my second sleeve. So now I'm going to show you how to make the ribbing. So you don't need to cut your yarn here if you're gonna use the same color. So you just continue make the ribbing. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain the desired length to make your ribbing. So I chain here 11 to make 10 stitches. So I'm going to chain 11 and then second chain from the hook, you're going to make your slip stitch. So just slip stitch into the chains. Then when you are done your slip stitch, just slip stitch here into the next stitch and slip stitch once more into the next stitch, and then turn your work and then into your first stitch. So this is slip stitch, so you don't confuse these two slip stitch. So work into your first stitch into the back loop, slip stitch. Okay, so just work slip stitch into the back loop only into all the stitches. Make sure you have the same kind of stitches. So for me it's 10, and then when you are done just chain 1. This chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch throughout. Okay, and then turn again your work and then into the first stitch, this make your slip stitch into the back loop only. So we're going to do this all the way around into the opening of our sleeve. Then when you are done again, just slip stitch here into the next stitch and slip stitch once more into the next stitch and then turn and then continue slip stitch into the back loop. Okay, so make sure you have the same kind of stitches. So you're going to do this all the way around into the sleeve. Okay, to make your ribbing going to look like this. Then when you are done, just sew the ends together. So this is my end, so just use your yarn needle and sew the beginning and last row. Okay, and then when you are done your sleeves, just do the same, the slip stitch into the back loop only ribbing to make the neckline. So I already did, so you can see this is the neckline. So it's totally the same, so I will not going to show you anymore how to do that because it's totally the same how to do the slip stitch into the back loop only, this, and just slip stitch into the stitches. Okay, so it's totally the same. Okay, and then when you are done here, we're going to continue the ribbing or the hem part here. Okay, so I'm going to decide first if I'm going to do the same with the slip stitch or with a single crochet into the back loop. Alright, so I'm done the two sleeves. Now I'm going to show you what I'm doing here in the ribbing or the hem. So I already started. So I started here into the corner. So I chain 9 and then second chain from the hook, start your single crochet and into the rest of the chains. So I have 8 stitches, so it's up to you. If you would like a longer one, you can add into your chains. Okay, so like second chain from your hook, so the chain 1 here doesn't count as a stitch, and then just single crochet into the back loop of your stitches. So make sure you have the same kind of stitches. And then when you are done, just slip stitch here into the next stitch. And then slip stitch once more into the next stitch. And then turn your work, and then into the back loop again, work your single crochet. So don't be confused with your 2 slip stitch. So this is the 2 slip stitch, and then into the back loop of your first stitch, make your single crochet. And then just chain 1 and turn, and then into your first stitch, make your single crochet. So chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, okay? So as easy as that to make the single crochet into the back loop ribbing. So this is how it look like. So it's different from our slip stitch back loop only. So I'm doing this so that my lower part of my sweater it's not compressed, okay? But if you prefer to do the slip stitch into the back loop, you can do that. This is only my personal preference. Alright, so continue this until you reach the end, and then using your yarn needle, you're going to join the ends together. Alright, and then when you are done, just weave all the ends and we are done with our sweater. Alright, so when you are done the hem, so this is how it look like my hem part. So it's the single crochet into the back loop. When you are done, just weave all your ends and we are done with our sweater. Alright, so thank you so much for joining me making this sweater. Hope you enjoyed making yours. You can share your work with me in my Instagram at Crochet by Beb. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you will be notified for more videos. Again, thank you so much and happy crochet everyone. Bye!